Yes, imposter syndrome is real, and I'm going to share with you a few ways on how you can move past it.
You're listening to the Corporate Misfit podcast with Brittany Darrington, where female entrepreneurs can get powerful tips and advice on how to start, launch, and grow their business.
Corporate misfits, many of us as entrepreneurs have experienced the unwanted emotion lurking, just waiting to rise up to the surface to override our hard work. And it's an ugly feeling that impacts the best of us from time to time. And if you allow it, this unwelcome emotion can completely derail your mental and emotional strength, bringing your business to a paralyzing halt. Trust me when I say I've been there way too many times. So you've done well for yourself. And taking a glance at your experience and looking at the long list of accomplishments, all signs point towards success. You look good on paper, but now what? An accomplished, a proven authority. However, there's a tightness in your chest that hints at an entirely different conclusion. It even causes you to start questioning yourself because you're worried that others will think you're a fraud. Now tell me, corporate misfits, are you sitting there listening to this and nodding your head in agreement? Yeah, I know. I have been there with you. And trust me when I say, even as an experienced entrepreneur, sometimes imposter syndrome still creeps up on you. This term, imposter syndrome, was coined and introduced to the world in 1978 by Dr. Pauline R. Clance and also Dr. Susan A. Ems. And this term means a psychological pattern in which individuals doubt their accomplishments and has a persistent internalized fear of being exposed as a fraud. Listen, corporate misfits, if you're feeling this way, you're feeling that imposter syndrome, I want you to know that it's normal and you're going to feel it from time to time. Even the great Maya Angelou said, I have written 11 books, but each time I think, oh no, they're going to find out now. I've ran a game on everybody and they're going to find me out. When imposter syndrome creeps in, you feel like you're not good enough, like you're not worthy, like you can't be doing what it is that you feel like you were called to do. And that's where danger can strike. And it can seriously impact your business, impact your personal life, and it can make you feel less than and keep you from sharing with the world your abilities and your gifts. Corporate misfits, I want you to know it's time to let go of imposter syndrome. It's time to move past it. And whenever you feel this experience, whenever you feel like, oh, I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough, people are going to think I'm a fraud, I want you to think back to the tips that I'm going to share with you today to help you overcome imposter syndrome and also move past it so that you can live your best life and you can do what you are called to do within your business. Okay, so tip number one is write down your accomplishments. I know it may seem silly at first, but take some time to write down your accomplishments, both small and large. And I want you to go all in. Don't hold back. I want you to take pride in all that you've achieved. This list will help you to prove that you know what you're doing, and it will also help you to silence the imposter syndrome monster. Now, step number two, if you start to feel imposter syndrome, I want you to create a raving fan folder. Do you love receiving positive emails and complimentary comments on social media? I want you to not be afraid to say yes. I mean, who doesn't? I love when I hear positive comments or receive a DM or get an email telling me about how I have either helped someone in their life or how I have provided a service or a product that really made a difference. That butters me up inside. So I want you to create that raving fan folder. Now, the key here is to only use positive messages to help you move forward. Don't find messages that don't move you forward. Don't find messages that don't really encourage you or find messages that even make you question yourself even more within your product, your service, your offer, and your business. So find things that really do excite you, light you up inside, and every time you read it, a smile comes to your face because you know that you did something that changed someone's life. So pull out all those raving fan emails. I want you to screenshot positive shout outs from your social media or anything that provides tangible evidence that you're doing a great job and others noticed. For me, I have some handwritten letters that people have written to me after speaking engagements, and I keep them all within a box and I hold on to them because one of the things that I have found is every time I question myself in being a business mentor and really being able to strategize within business, I pull back out this list that informs me of all the amazing people that I helped. And also, I read about how they were able to quit their 9 to 5 and start their business based off the knowledge and the information that I have provided. I'll tell you, that gets me out of the funk, the mood, the imposter syndrome that sometimes I go into, and it helps me to get back on track and get off this bus to nowhere to get to where I need to go in my business. So their words really remind me of who I am and why I do what I do, despite this feeling that keeps me from wanting to see my accomplishments as more than what they are. So I challenge you to create a raving fan folder. You could do this online, or if you have actual written notes, or if you want to print out some of your screenshots or emails, do this and pull this out every single time. I'll tell you, a decade later, I still pull out these notes and they still help me. They motivate me, they encourage me, and I think they can help you as well if you ever feel this feeling. Okay, moving on to tip number 3. I want you to build and participate in a support network. Whenever you feel imposter syndrome coming on, having a support system or a mentor to lean on will really help you to realize who you are and help you to get back on track. I know for me, whenever I have those moments of I don't feel good enough or I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm a fraud. What am I doing? I usually will find somebody who will lift me back up and who will remind me of who I am. I know it's really scary sometimes to open up to others and share that you feel like you're a fraud, or you feel like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm not the expert, or maybe I'm not good enough. But I will tell you, by releasing this energy and by sharing this and having that support system to help build you back up, it can really help you to get out of a funk. It can help you to change your mood, your mindset, and help you to have a different outlook based off of the feelings that you were feeling with imposter syndrome. So make sure that you build and participate in a support network. And if you don't have a mentor, or if you don't have a support network within entrepreneurship, I do challenge you to find a meetup group. You can go to meetup.com and find a meetup group within your local community and go and start making connections with other people who are like-minded, who get you and also want to see you succeed. So they would be willing to give you advice, be a shoulder to cry on, or just hear you out, because most of the time they've probably been there too. And so you could do that by going to meetup.com and finding a support system of individuals who are like-minded just like you. Now, tip number 4 is all about embracing the feeling and then letting it go and moving forward. I know a lot of people like to say, okay, I don't feel imposter syndrome anymore, I'm moving on. But the real truth is, there's still that elephant in the room. There is still the feeling of imposter syndrome, but you're just not dealing with it yet. And ultimately, that imposter syndrome is going to sit there and it's going to grow. And eventually, it's going to come out of nowhere, and it's going to be worse than if you were to embrace it and feel it and acknowledge it and move forward. So sometimes the best way to actually eliminate the problem is to simply embrace it. When you feel imposter syndrome, just let that feeling out and be upset or be frustrated, feel sad, and then ultimately get over it so that you can move on. Now, some of the ways for you to embrace this and some of the ways for you to be able to move on is by having meditation or journaling or prayer, or having that support system and sharing your feelings so that you ultimately release the energy that is not serving your business well, and you can put your energy towards what will ultimately make you happy, grow your business, and get you to where you want to go versus having this imposter syndrome. Now, if you take a moment to realize you're not truly under a microscope of judgment from the whole world, it is a lot easier to let go of the fear for your shortcomings that you are glaring on. Just know that you are so worthy. You're more than enough. And I want you to always go back to all the amazing accomplishments that you have achieved. Every time you start to feel down, every time you start to feel like you're not good enough, every time you start to question your expertise, I want you to know deep down you have everything within, and you just need to be reminded of it. Now it's time for you to go out there and be exactly who you were called to be at all times. And the key is not to let the feelings stop you from moving forward. I want you to take today as an opportunity to start accepting and really embracing your capabilities and showing the world your unique services, your gifts, and all that you have to give. Okay, corporate misfits. Well, I can't wait to hear how this episode helps you to overcome any imposter monsters that you might be facing currently or any imposter monsters that you might face in the future. I know that you are capable of so much and you just need to be reminded of it. Now, if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe to the Corporate Misfit podcast so that you can receive notifications every time we have a new episode. And also, I would love for you to comment and let me know your favorite takeaway from today's episode. Oh, and make sure you tag me at I am Brittany Darrington so that I can see it and also comment back, DM you, all that great stuff, and connect on another level.
If you've enjoyed today's episode of the Corporate Misfit podcast, we invite you to check out the Corporate Misfit Club. The Corporate Misfit Club is the essential resource for female entrepreneurs who are looking to start or grow a business they actually love. Whether you are a seasoned entrepreneur in your startup phase or simply thinking about taking the leap into entrepreneurship, we've got your back, girl. With our extensive course library, monthly training, exclusive members-only discount perks, and unlimited tools. We also have a supportive community of women where our members share stories, experiences, their wins, and business tips. The Corporate Misfit Club is the perfect place to be to start, launch, or grow a business. So check it out at corporatemisfitclub.com.